Hi, and welcome to the show Podium, Spiritual Truths Behind Elite Sports Performance. I'm Denise Holland, and I am delighted that we will share the next 5 to 10 minutes together. If you'd like to learn more about my work, you can look on my website, www.class-performance.com. And this week, I'm also delighted to say that I'm part of a global initiative, and we have just launched our brand new website, and that is www.webofwellbeing.org. And that organisation is a global initiative promoting mental health and well-being in children. And if you're a coach or an athlete and you're working with or know young people, children who are really struggling in life, and you would like to learn more about this global initiative, #wow, then just drop me a line on denise.holland@class-performance.com. So in this show, I'm really inspired to talk about why is it that people might want to look in this direction of understanding their true nature, understanding more about their spiritual being, and what's the impact of looking in this direction, especially for sports people. I mean, this is a show designated for sports people, but it's not exclusive because really it doesn't matter what the field that you're working in. When we look at human performance, it actually applies to all of us, no matter what field we're working in. So if you're like me listening right now and you're in the middle of a pre-season period, it's just about to all kick off in September, late August, September. And it's great. I love it. I love that there's this beautiful new unfolding about to happen, the whole season of 17-18. And here it is right at the beginning. And we have no idea how it's going to play out. You get a fresh new start right at the beginning of the season. You can work on all sorts of technical skills. You can look tactically at the opposition. You can look at tactically what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses and how you're going to play your season. In terms of fitness, you're looking, okay, what have I got here? Where do I need to tweak that? How do we need to improve in terms of strength and speed? And then there's this social and emotional intelligence, which is sort of been the buzzword or the buzz subject in sports science for the last, say, 10 years. And with that, you might do a little bit of work on self-awareness and just, in my experience of how I used to see it, would be helping athletes and coaches to realise how it is they respond to situations. And with that awareness, be able to positively impact the team's performance. The world of elite and professional sport, I must say, has got very sophisticated in trying to orchestrate human performance when it counts. But for me, I see that there is an area and there is a performance variable that we're missing. Because even though we are enhancing the skill development and the tactical prowess and the physicality, as well as helping athletes to be more self-aware, we're not actually looking at what's behind behaviours and responses and actions. You do so much work planning ahead of time for performances in the future, but we're not really acknowledging the fact that we have no idea how athletes show up in any given moment. We don't know what's on their mind. We don't know the sorts of chat that is going on with each athlete before competition and during competition. You think you're working with something that is constant, but actually the human mind and the personal identity is very changeful. It's completely impermanent. You know yourself, after a loss, you might feel really down for a while, and then suddenly it's shifted and you're feeling better. And even, as I've said before on these shows, the euphoria of a win, we know it wears off. The actual feeling state, the consciousness, as we call it in this work, is changing all the time. The difference I see in athletes who have started to look in this direction of understanding how the human mind is working to create their experience is that they have so more living minutes in what we might call freedom, psychological freedom, so that they're not getting caught up in thinking which doesn't serve them. And so when they come to training and when they come to competitions, they're just more open for that performance to come through them than other athletes. All the time that you've spent on the technical and tactical and physical side of the game, all of that is available. Your transference from the training arena to the competition field is much more fluid. I mean, how many times have you as a coach or a manager scratched your head and you've worked on so much, especially on the pre-season, and you hit that first game and it looks nothing like the work that you've been doing in training? Here are a few differences, if you like, in responses or the way in which athletes show up if they really insightfully see where their experience is coming from. I mean, how the human mind is working to create their experiences. And just a few. So sports people stop blaming others for the way they feel. So if your athletes have a grievance or they have an upset and they believe that that is coming from somebody else, whether it's you, the coach, or whether it's a teammate, then they are going to be preoccupied with that chat. And any amount of work that you're doing to develop their technical skills or their tactical game, that's going to take second place, because their mind is going to be filled up with blame and judgment. Now, conversely, if you're working with an athlete who absolutely understands that nothing on the outside of them, situations, circumstance, what people say, can make them feel anything, if they have a real deep, insightful understanding of the inside-out nature of human experience, then they're not going to be bothered with thoughts that might come, thoughts that just pop in. They're just going to be able to let those go, and they're not going to take those seriously whatsoever. And that is very powerful. Another area would be when athletes have a bad game. They have a really off performance and underachieve and make a lot of mistakes. And sports people can really suffer with fearful thinking around making mistakes. It would take them out of performances. And this is the difference, again, with why would you look in this direction of understanding your state of mind, understanding how that human experience comes into being, understanding who and what you really are, understanding that you're not your thoughts. That when you have an experience of your thinking, you can see that it's coming and going. You can see that it's arbitrary. You can see that it's optional. You can see that it's not a requirement for you to go with it. When we look at some of the greatest athletes of all time, Roger Federer, he does not bother with his thinking, even though he does have thinking that's unproductive. He doesn't care about it. And that's the difference with looking in the direction of your true nature and who and what you are as a spiritual being having a human experience. Well, I hope you have enjoyed the show, and if you would like to contact me, Denise Holland at class-performance.com. And if you're curious about what am I talking about and how practical and scientific is this work, well, you only have to look at young babies when they hear music. And this week I had the privilege of watching my nephew's young baby, who's only 14 months old. And we put some music on. He's only just learned to walk. And suddenly he starts to wiggle his bottom and he starts to jib up and down and he starts to punch into the air. And he was dancing. Nobody taught him to dance. He just did it naturally. It was innate to him to do that. And that just speaks to the fact that there is something else going on here. When our minds are clear, human beings, sports people, tend to do very well. So that just leaves me to say thank you so much for listening in on the show, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon. Bye-bye.